Hey everybody, it's Steve with another episode of Keep 'em Rolling, and this is the Show of Show episodes. I am so excited. The Show of Show is only, well, today's Sunday evening. It is only 4 days away. Well, now really 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll be heading out Thursday morning for the show. For any of you who are going to the show, I'm going to plan on being there Thursday for the show and Friday for the show. If you're going to be there and you want to hook up at some point and talk militaria, shoot me a comment here and we'll see what we can do, because I'm hoping to see some of you at the show. Now, with that being said, for those of you who don't know what the show is, that's what this video is about. We're not going to do any really showing of militaria here. It's more going to be about how to go through the show, what to expect. And for those of you who might be ready to turn off right now and say, well, that's not me, I'm not going to the show, some of the techniques, tips, etc. I give also apply to going to your flea markets, going to your military shows and the like. So you can apply this. It's not just Show of Show specific. Well, at least the rest of it is. The start is Show of Show specific. So what is the Show of Shows? The Show of Shows is considered to be possibly the largest military show in the world. It takes place every year, usually in February. Last year it was in June just because of the whole COVID debacle. But normally it's latter part of February. It's held at the Kentucky Fair and Expo Center, which is a massive complex of buildings in Louisville, Kentucky. Okay. The buildings are all temperature controlled. You're not going to anything that's outdoors. So if the weather's really inclement, you are okay. All right. And we'll talk about clothing here and what to wear in a moment. But massive show. It's sponsored by the Ohio Valley Military Society, also known as the OVMS. And the OVMS is a great society. You can join the society. And if you do join, they have a couple membership tiers. One is like a general membership, if I recall, and the other one is a life membership. Doing those will give you some perks regarding the Show of Shows. So what I'd like to do is let's talk about the dates real quick. The dates for the show are Wednesday the 23rd, Thursday the 24th, Friday the 25th, Saturday the 26th, and Sunday the 27th of February, 2022. Okay, so we got that out of the way. So if I join the OVMS or I want to go to the show, what's going to happen? Well, if you want to join the OVMS and you want to go to their big platform, you want to be a life member. If you join as a life member, it does cost a lot, but it gets you a lot of perks as far as you don't have to pay for any of their shows, and they sponsor other shows besides the OVM or the Show of Shows. Life membership gets you access to their database. You don't have to pay your dues every year. It gets you a really cool badge, etc., etc., etc. But for the Show of Shows, it allows you to come in on Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday is only for setup and for life members, period. Okay, so if you're not a dealer, if you're not a dealer helper, and if you're not a life member, you can't go to the show on Wednesday the 23rd. The same thing is true for Sunday the 27th. It is only for dealers, helpers, and life members, and that's the teardown day. Okay, so if you're a life member, you get that extra 2 days that you could go to the show. Now, if you don't want to spend the money to be a life member, you just want to join as a regular member, I think it's in the $30 range-ish, somewhere in there. I can't remember. It's not huge. That will allow you to get into the shows for free, the shows that they sponsor. It'll allow you to get into the Show of Shows for free. And it will allow you to get in on Thursday the 24th. Thursday the 24th is a members day only. So you have to be a member of the OVMS and you can come in on Thursday. That's a day I love. It's peaceful, it's quiet, you can talk to the dealers, it's a great day. Now, if you don't want to join, you're like, nah, I just don't want to put my money into that right now. And I encourage you, go on their website, OVMS, Ohio Valley Military Society, and it gives you all the pricing, the tiers, what you get, and so forth. But if you don't want to join, you can come on Friday or Saturday. You pay your admittance fee. I believe they have a 1 day, and then they have a special 2 day, which is a little less. And you can attend the show. Okay. One thing to keep in mind, though, with the Show of Shows, parking does cost. I think it's $5 to park. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're budgeting. Let's see if I've covered everything. What does the show encompass? 2,000 plus tables, ladies and gentlemen, and they always sell all their tables. In fact, they have a waiting list a mile long for tables, okay? The military covers all wars from pre-Civil War and even earlier up until today, covers all nationalities. It covers, it's usually pretty heavy U.S. World War II with German a hot second, but there is just tons of interesting things to look at this show. And then pricing wise, we'll get into that later. We talked about Life Member, talked about the OVMS. Yeah, that kicks it off. Let's move on to Chapter 2. All right, everybody. Chapter 2 here is on how to dress. And I can't stress this enough, dress comfortable. Okay, there's no specific dress code for the show of shows. You know, there's no suit and tie type of thing. Dress comfortably. As I alluded to at the start, the buildings are temperature controlled. I hate to pay the heating bill for those. So you're not going into some sort of like outdoor flea market situation. I will leave my coat in the car and I dress in layers. Okay, you don't want to bring your coat in and be burdened with a cumbersome jacket because you're going to be warm. All right. So let's go through real quick of what I wear. To start with, I will wear good old Vans slip-on shoes. My body is used to these shoes. They're pretty comfortable. I'll wear super thick socks because you are on a concrete floor and you want to kind of cushion your feet. So tennis shoes, anything like that. I don't recommend buying new shoes before you come down. You don't want something that's going to cause you to be in a lot of pain by the end of the show. As far as hiking boots go, I did wear hiking boots to the show one year. The weather was really inclement and I had really good hiking boots with, good ankle support and a good cushion, but I overheated. They just got too hot. So keep that in mind. Comfortable shoes, comfortable socks, trousers. I wear just a nice pair of jeans. They have pockets that work for holding my phone and my wallet. I know some jeans have real shallow pockets. These are deeper so I can fit stuff in them. I will wear layers, as I mentioned earlier. So on the top, I'll wear like a t-shirt and either a light sweater or a button-down sweater or a button-down like flannel shirt, something like that. And that allows me to, as I go through the show, warm up or cool down. If I'm getting too hot, I can unbutton the sweater, slide the sleeves up, or take it off and have that t-shirt on. If I'm getting too cold, obviously in reverse, slide sleeves down, button up, and so forth and so on. A watch. I will wear a watch. I know we have our phones. I like to have that quick reference. It helps because time tends to come to a stop while you're going through the show. I mean, it is so massive. You get so kind of into what you're doing. It's nice to be able to be like, okay, I've got 4 hours left. And this is crucial because when you get down near the end, some dealers, they're not supposed to, but some dealers will cut out early. They might pack up their stuff a half an hour early, cover their tables and head out for dinner. They've had a long day. And you don't want to lose track of time and have something on a table that you really wanted to buy and now you can't get to it because the dealer's gone. So a watch, a backpack, or a bag. I will bring this. This is a shooting bag. I like backpacks versus like the messenger bags. Some people like the messenger bag that goes across. I like something that distributes the weight over both shoulders. I can cinch it down so it becomes kind of a part of my back. There are areas where it's going to get crowded. A lot of people trying to squeeze through the aisles. It's nice to have something where I know where it's at. It's not going to snag on something. So backpack is essential. Essential. It is essential, ladies and gentlemen, to have a bag of some sort. Boy, it is a long day. It is essential to have a bag of some kind. Okay, I can't stress that enough. You don't want to be trying to put stuff in your pockets and carry stuff. Bring that bag with you. Hat, that's up to you. The only thing I would recommend is a hat that's not going to get in your way. So that's pretty much it for clothing. Let's move on to Chapter 3. All right, next is what to carry. We'll start right out with a wallet. You don't want to just have wadded up money in your pockets. You need a place to carry it. I carry it in my wallet. I keep my bills organized. I keep the wallet right in the right front pocket of my jeans. And I do this because if I should set my bag down and I forget it, it gets lost, it gets stolen, I would be devastated, but I'm not out my driver's license, credit cards, and cash. Okay, so right front pocket of the jeans. Now, next is the phone. I bring my phone. I bring my phone because they have good Wi-Fi connectivity and I can use it to do research if necessary. So a phone. The backpack right here. What do I carry in this? Well, sustenance to start. I will carry 3 bottles of water. These are 24-ounce bottles-ish, so about 75 ounces of water. Now, they do have drinking fountains in the show of shows, but it's nice just to have the water to keep yourself hydrated. A lot of people forget to do this while they're walking around. They're so focused on the stuff and the shopping, and it is so overwhelming that this part of their life tends to fade to the background. And you don't want that to happen, because if you're not hydrating and if you're not eating, you're going to, by the end of the show, be absolutely miserable. Trust me, I have done that, okay? This right here allows me to drink when I want. I don't have to try and make my way to a vendor or to a food vendor or to a drinking fountain. It allows me to see how much I have drank throughout the day. My goal is to polish off all 3 of these throughout the course of the day. Now, along that same lines, I bring snackage with me. They do have food vendors as well, but you may not want to have to go get in line and wait for food. So this right here, I get to the end of an aisle, I stop, take a quick break, drink some water, munch on some M&Ms, tackle the next aisle. You will be so happy that you have done this, okay? Some people will bring full-fledged meals. They'll pack a sandwich, they'll pack chips. There was one year I went that I stopped at McDonald's on the way in on Thursday, and I got myself a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin, ate that, and bought an extra. Threw it in my bag and ate that later on in the day. So have sustenance with you. You will not regret it. I'm telling you right now. So next is medicine. Medicine. If you have prescription drugs that you need to bring with you, please pack those, okay? Otherwise, for my little pharmacy, I will bring ibuprofen. I will bring Pepto-Bismol tablets. I will bring antacid. Anything that I think might help deal with a problem, if you will, during the show. And believe me, you know how Murphy's Law works, everybody. You get into the show, you haven't had a headache in 2 weeks, and come down with a stupid headache, or your knees are hurting, or you've got an upset stomach. So it's nice to have the medication to deal with it. And why I pack this is because taking 2 seconds to throw this in your bag right now, if you don't have it, there's no place to buy it, okay? You have to leave the show, you have to go get in your car, drive to the nearest pharmacy, pick up the stuff and come back, and you've lost potentially 2 hours of the show doing that. So please pack that pain reliever and such. Once again, as with the water and stuff, you won't regret it. Now we get into kind of some of the more tools of the trade, if you will. I will bring a magnifying glass. This right here is a little jeweler's loupe. These are great for, getting right down and dirty when you're looking at the details, okay? I use this quite a bit when I'm at the show. These right here can be had, I know like my local card shop that does cards and coins and stuff, they have these, they're like 15 bucks, okay? Have one of these in your pack. Sometimes dealers will have them available if you ask, but I just like to have my own. The next thing is the phone charger. I will carry my phone charger with me. This one right here, I'll probably have my quick charge brick. But there's lots of places to plug in. You know, if I'm taking a break for half an hour, I'll find an outlet, grab a spot on the floor, plug my phone in, and top off the charge, okay? You want to keep your phone charged. I also bring along a extra battery just in case, I'm doing filming for you guys and such. My phone tends to drain a little faster, and I want to be able to keep it charged. If I can't get to an outlet, I can always just plug this in and let it charge while I'm walking around. So next, we have notebook, pens, and pencils. I'm not even going to dig that out. Bring yourself a pen, a pencil, and a notebook. You're going to need it. You're going to need it because it's great to take notes if you're there for 2 days and there's items that you're going to kind of think about, you're not quite sure of. You can jot the notes down about what you had issues with, what parts were there. So maybe there was a part missing. It's great for taking notes, but it's also great for writing down where things are at. Because believe me, if you go someplace and you see an item that you want to buy and you're going to come back, you got to take detailed notes on it. This place is so massive and stuff is constantly moving around. Dealers are shifting their stuff on their tables. People are buying stuff that if you don't have detailed notes, you may never find the item again. So for me, if I see an item, all the aisles, they letter them. So what I will do is I will get out my notebook, my pen, and I'll write down aisle J on the right while facing the front doors. Midway down, lots of tall tables with black shelving, items for sale, including lots of helmets, overseas caps large Civil War painting, giant American flag, and so forth. And then I'll make notes about who's around them. Booth across the way has interesting photograph of Otto von Bismarck, and so forth and so on. That way I can get right back, because I have missed items because of that, where I'm like, I know it was right here. What happened? So notebook, pens, and pencils. Now, I also bring with me bags. So within my bag, I will bring I have a large gallon Ziploc bag. I have a small quart size Ziploc bag. I have plastic grocery bags, the kinds that you get at your supermarket. And I have a big cloth bag. This one actually is pretty cool. It's got the Alamo on it. I visited the Alamo this past year, 2021. It's an amazing place. You see pictures of it and you think, it's got to be this big sprawling complex. And you get there and you're like, man, this is tiny. It's kind of wedged in amongst skyscrapers, So, but neat place. I was glad to be able to visit a piece of Texas history. So, why do I bring these bags? Well, if you're buying things, let's say I buy a helmet and it's got a really nice finish on it, and I want to put it in my backpack. The dealer may not have a bag. I want to make sure I protect it. So I use that plastic grocery bag to kind of wrap around it and put it in there. That way, if I put something else in the bag, I've got padding between the two. They're not going to rub on each other. I bring the Ziploc bags. Large one is for paper items. If I find photographs, booklets, etc., I can put them in here nice and flat and then put them in the back part of my backpack. If I buy small pieces, insignia, medals, whatever, they can go in the small Ziploc bag, and that way they're all together, and that prevents them from just being scattered throughout the bottom of my backpack. I don't want to put the stuff in my pockets. Pocket is for my phone on the left, wallet on the right. I don't want to do that, because if I put insignia in my pocket and I pull my phone out and that rubber case catches on the insignia, it might fall to the ground. I've lost my insignia, okay? So that's why I have these bags. The cloth bag I bring, because if I buy something that's large, it's not going to fit in my backpack, such as a uniform or, once again, a helmet. This right here allows me to have something extra to carry it in while I'm kind of determining if I'm going to go to my car. The parking lot is a bit of a walk, okay? It's not undoable by any means, but it's a bit of a walk. And if the weather's really cold, if it's rainy, if it's foul, it's a miserable walk, okay? The other reason I bring these bags is because of that. The show's over with, I'm walking to my car. I want something to protect my items if it is crummy, if it's a little rainy, if it's misty, if it's snowing, what have you. I want to protect them. So that's why I bring the bags. And then the final thing I bring is my list of what I want to buy. Take a few moments before you go, compile a list of your wants, of your must-haves, of you would like to look for, and just have that as a base, okay? The show can mislead you. You can get there and all of a sudden come home with a bunch of stuff where you're like, oh, what did I just buy? So it's nice to have some sort of direction. Doesn't mean you can't have that fun, cool item you pick up that was just some random find where you're like, oh, man, I never thought about owning one of those. But having that list helps you kind of focus. Now, I'll usually review the list, like when I'm waiting in line or right when I get there, just to say, okay, yes, I am looking for M1 helmet. I am looking for a 43 field jacket, and I am looking for a cartridge belt. That way, as I'm going around, those things are kind of spinning in my head. And if I see something, oh yeah, I was looking for a 43 jacket. Let me look at that. So that's my advice for what to carry when you go to the show of shows. All right, everybody, this last chapter is tips for the show, and I'm just going to rip through these because this video is already getting too long. First is arrival. When you get there, the show is massive. Have a plan already in place. You should have your list, have some ideas of what you're looking for, and when you go in, pick a direction you want to go and then kind of stick with it. So if you're going to go clockwise and work your way up and down the aisles. If you're going to go counterclockwise, etc. I've gone down the center before. I usually look, where is the crowd going? Are they going left? Are they going right? And then I pick the direction that I want to go that's away from the crowd. But stick to it. Don't get into a habit of skipping around. Otherwise, it'll just become a jumbled mess. You have to believe me on this, okay? So now it doesn't mean that you can't change your techniques halfway through. I had an incident where I was looking for a M1928 pack, and there was a guy buying them all, and he was like maybe 6 tables ahead of me. So I just stopped where I was at, went all the way across the hall to the other side and started working that direction back, and I was able to pick up what I needed. So I'm just saying, have organization in mind, because if you don't, it's going to be a mess. So first arrival, money. Make sure to bring yourself a variety of bills. Don't be that person that shows up and buys a $2 item with a $100 bill. So a variety of bills. Take breaks. Okay, this is really crucial. A bathroom break. I usually set my phone to go off every 2.5 hours when I'm doing this, so I actually make myself go to the bathroom because you can get caught up in it. It's crazy. I can't stress how big this show is. So it's important to take the breaks. I'll also take a snack break or a lunch break. I'll watch a movie, YouTube. I've been watching Star Trek's Lower Decks now, the animated one, and I might watch that. It helps cleanse you as well. It allows your feet to rest for a few minutes. It allows you to kind of clear your head and jump back in. This is something that you want to finish strong. You don't want to finish weak with this. And if you just go, you're going to finish weak. And finishing weak can also mean making bad decisions of, you're not thinking clearly when you're trying to buy something. So, and please eat. I know guys who will get up and they're so excited to get to the show. They skip breakfast. They get right over there. They go through the show. They don't want to take time for lunch. They don't want to take time for snacks. You're punishing yourself. Don't do that. Get a good breakfast in you. There was one time where I went to McDonald's and I got myself a sausage McMuffin, and then I got an extra sausage McMuffin and just threw it in my bag and ate it later. So eat, important. Bathroom, important. To buy or not to buy. This is an interesting one that one person pointed out to me. This is a crapshoot, okay? Literally, you go in and the first table has stuff that you want. It's the stuff you've been looking for. Do you buy it, or do you say to yourself, I've got 1,999 more tables to go through, I'm going to go through those instead? You have to be the judge of that. I can tell you this, the turnover at the show is huge. Stuff that it doesn't stay on the tables, especially if it's good quality, if it's rare, if the price is right, it moves. So if you see that item that you've been looking to fill that hole in your collection and the price is pretty reasonable, I recommend probably pulling the trigger. There's another reason behind that as well, and that is if you don't, you're going to be really worried about that item. So it's going to take away from you looking at other stuff as you walk up and down the aisles. You're going to be thinking, oh, is it still there? Oh, maybe I should buy that. Yeah, it's up to you. I can't make that decision for you. I'm just throwing it out there to tell you I have lost out on some really cool things because I said I will come back. And when I came back, in one case, it was like 10 minutes later, it was gone. Okay, so buy or not buy. As far as dealing with the dealers, 99% of the dealers there are really, really nice. It's like any military show you go to, any flea market, you're going to have some dealers that are kind of the rotten eggs. If someone's being a jerk to me, I won't deal with them. Okay, it's as simple as that. But when dealing with the dealers, I have a couple things I do. Number one, I will always ask to look at an item, unless it's obvious that I can look at it. For instance, a canteen, I'm going to ask if I can open it. A hat, I'm going to ask if I can take it off the display head. And I do that just to show that I respect their wares, which they appreciate. But I also do it because sometimes things have a reason why they're where they're at. You take that hat off and maybe the sweatband is loose, and the dealer would like to tell you that before you do that. So, respect the dealer's wares. If you're going to look at stuff, if you're going to dig through a pile of uniforms, clothing, what have you, put it back the way you found it, or put it back better than you found it. Be that person. I've seen some really just jerky customers who just, they just throw the stuff. And then as far as pricing goes, it's their stuff. They can price it for whatever they want to price it for. If you think it's too high, move on to the next table. Don't get in an argument about the price. And please don't be the person who uses, I saw that on eBay and it was a lot less. All right, don't be that person. Just walk away. Good stuff and price. One of the fallacies of the show of shows is that if you don't get in there right when the show opens, the stuff's all gone. Okay, that the good stuff only is found on Wednesday between the dealers and the Life members and so forth and so on. And, that's partially true for really, really high-end stuff. But I hate to tell you this, unless you're in the inner circle, even if you went as a Life member that Wednesday or what have you, you're still not going to be part of the deals. A lot of the deals that take place are I know somebody, and that person knows I collect, let's say, 32nd Division, the Red Arrow Division, and they call me up before the show and say, hey, man, I've got some really great stuff that just came out of an estate. I'm giving you first crack at it, okay? That's usually how those deals work. So I'm telling you right now, I've been to that show on Thursday, right at the start, right in the front of the line, and I have found great stuff. I've been to that show on Friday, and have found great stuff. I've been to that show on Saturday at the tail end, and I have found great stuff. And what a lot of people don't realize is that as the days go on, dealers tend to replenish their tables. They have stuff underneath, and they'll pull stuff out and put it up when something sells. I bought a really nice item in June. I think it was my World War I helmet. And I said, I'm surprised this is still here. And the dealer's like, well, I just put it out. You know, something else is sold. Space opened up, so I put it out. So keep that in mind. There's good stuff throughout this whole show, okay? And then pricing. Some people will say that, you know, the show of shows is just overpriced. Well, I'll be honest with you, it's not a flea market, okay? You're not going to walk in there and find that fixed bale Holly Liner M1 helmet for 50 cents. But the prices are all over the place if you look. You know, I've been there I was looking for a cartridge belt. And, you know, the first couple tables, they were just, in my opinion, completely overpriced. We're talking in the $200 range. I get 6 rows in, and guy has one on his table. It's better than any I've seen so far for $45. Just keep in mind, though, that a show like this gives you the opportunity to really look for those top-end items. And when you look for top-end items, you're going to be paying more money. But I still feel the deals are there to be made. So don't worry so much about the price. I hope this video, which, like I said, is getting a little long, we're going to end it. I hope this helps you. I hope that if you have not been to the show of shows and you're considering it, that it pushes you over that. There's always next year for this. If you are kind of on the fence of considering this, you should do this once in your life. It is truly an amazing show. Everybody I've ever talked to said, yep, you walk in that front door for the first time, and it's just, even now, I've been there many times, and I'll still walk in that first day and just be like, oh, what have I gotten myself into? This is amazing, okay? Now, I am going to do, as I said, a lot of B-roll. I'm going to do a show there. I can't do live streaming yet, but we're going to do that. So for those of you who can't go, hopefully you'll be able to experience some stuff through that. And for those of you who are there, as I said earlier, if you want to meet up at some point, send me a comment here, you know, over the next couple of days, and we'll go from there. But I'm going to end this video, and I just hope to see some of you there. I hope you all enjoy the footage that I take. And this is Steve reminding all of you to keep them rolling.